Welcome, gamers, to GamerzDownunder podcast. I'm Laman.
And I am Steve.
This is episode 23. So, we'll start off how we normally do, Steve. So, what gaming were you doing this week?
Ooh, there's three. I don't know which one I want to actually start with. Oh, actually, no, I'll kick off with the download, Fortnite.
Ah! Hey, I was playing that too. How cool is it?
I didn't get to play. It was 11...
We're talking about gaming of the week, and you're saying you downloaded the game. Good work, but you didn't play it.
That's all I done. That was the gaming of the week. I watched 12 gig, because on my PS4 Pro, it turns out I don't have Fortnite. It was on my normal PlayStation. So, yeah, I'm spewing about that, but I downloaded it last night. I'm downloaded on the young fellas, and we're going to have some battles. So that was my...
Is there any difference between the Pro and the normal PlayStation 4? Because I'm a converted Xbox person myself, and I've only got the PlayStation 4. I got the special Star Wars edition because I like Star Wars, but I didn't bother getting the Pro.
Oh, do you have a 4K TV?
Nah.
Then probably not worth it.
Excellent.
It's got a slightly faster, bigger memory, and 4K, upscale 4K. So definitely not worth getting unless you've got a 4K TV.
Okay. Yeah, because I just play on my projector.
The worst part was I used to have to delete games to fit more games on, because I believe the PS4 originals were only 500 gig. The PS4 Pros are 1 terabyte.
Okay.
Like, I've got a fair few games on there at the moment. Actually, no, I'm going to leave the rest of the rant of Fortnite for... which section? Let's talk about it in news of the week. I don't know. I want to have a rant because I read some articles about how much society and mainstream media, etc., hates Fortnite. I'm going to put that under news because I read it on an article, so that can come after as news. My other two games, one of them I want to talk about, obviously, FIFA 19.
Yep.
I went to a shopping centre with my partner on the weekend, and she's like, oh, because it was our weekend alone. That wasn't the noises she was making with me when we were alone.
No, pretty much. Are you done?
Yeah. That was her sound effects at EB Games. And she turns around and says, you know what? I should buy FIFA 20 for the son. I said, what for? Stuff FIFA 20. So then I have to kick on about a big rant about how terrible FIFA is in the middle of EB Games. And someone hears me and actually says, yeah, I agree. And I'm like, oh no, now I'm causing a scene. So I was like, oh, it's not out yet anyway. And we walked off. Off we go. I bought, I can't even remember what I bought myself, but I bought something. Denied the young fella, and we moved on. The young fella comes home from his dad's. Mum, did you get me FIFA 20? She goes, oh no, Darzel said.
See how they threw you under the bus straight away?
Oh, through.
Darzel said, bang.
Darzel said, no, it's not out yet. And he just looked straight at her, straight at me. It came out last month. I think it was September 27th or something. It came out last month. And she looks at me and I was like, you don't want FIFA anyway.
I saved your money. There's no difference between 19 and 20 except for more probably loot boxes.
He's got 14, he's got 15, he's got 19. I'm like, come on, bud. Like, Need for Speed is coming out soon. Get that, because he loves car racing games. If he didn't have 19 and it was a big jump, like at least 2 years, he has FIFA 14, I think it is, then FIFA 16, then all the way to FIFA 19. Fair enough, he's missed a year or two as he was going, but he's trying to buy the next one. And literally, me being the pessimist, I wonder if that's the right word, towards EA and FIFA and everything, I tried looking it up and saying, what is the major differences between 19 and 20?
So I have the same conversation daily. I have the same conversation daily just because I think, what's the difference between Final Fantasy, the new one coming out, and the old one? They were both crap games, or they will be crap games. What's the difference?
Look, this is literally straight...
He's ignoring me.
Oh, no, this is straight off the internet, so it's got to be true. Is FIFA 19 better than 18? Because this is what people have to ask every single year. Is it worth it? FIFA. Oh, there you go. Just swallowed a mozzie. Swallowed a mozzie. That's.
Did it taste good?
And yet, I would rather do that again than play FIFA. Oh. And the question. Oh, it's really back there. I don't have my water bottle. It's left a bad taste in my mouth like FIFA. That's what it has. The question is, FIFA 19 better than 18? And it goes on. This is from an actual magazine. This isn't just a random person writing it on the internet. It is a trusted review on the internet. I only say by trusted reviews.
So who does trusted reviews?
That's the only reason why I say it's trusted, is because that's their actual name. So it's probably not trust. But it says, FIFA 19 is a worthy successor to a generally excellent FIFA 18 for a number of reasons. I hope they go into these number of reasons, but none of them are really in terms of gameplay.
Yeah, it's more loot boxes, like I said. So it's all flashy.
You
can buy Ronaldo or whoever you were saying.
Down Dendendio, and he'd be blowing up if he could hear me. And then there are some nice tweaks here and there, and it does feel smoother and more fluid to play. However, the big upgrades come in the form of even more game modes and even more licenses. Yeah. So I'm assuming that by licenses they mean more teams. They've entered more teams into the rosters. They're bringing in women's teams, or maybe that's a 2020 thing. I can't remember what that is, but like truthfully, I cannot find the difference. A lot of people.
So you just did the difference between 18 and 19. Yeah, you didn't do 19 and 20.
I couldn't find anything with 19 and 20. It was.
It's a carbon copy.
It was exactly the same quote for 1920. It was just like you had one or two different maps for challenge modes, like you're up on top of a high-rise building or you're under a bridge, and like that's literally
it. What is a high-rise building doing? You're playing FIFA. It's a soccer game.
Yeah, but you must be playing FIFA on that high-rise building, like as in you're kicking the ball against the wall or something. Like kids don't all grow up in acreage. It was exactly the same. And
I understand. It's a FIFA game. You're playing soccer. How do you kick a ball against the wall?
I have to just that. I can kick a ball against a wall. That's one thing that I'm actually.
How is that important about playing FIFA?
Well, no, when you're a kid, you got to, like, you're painted goals on the wall and you kick the ball and you have to try to get the ball.
And that's in game, though?
Not in game when you're playing a team.
I thought that was part of the game.
No, it's like a kickoff or a shoot-off tournament or something. Once again, I would never clue. This is what I'm reading. And that whole debate doesn't make me feel like going out and playing it. Look, and I know soccer especially. We'll get Kurt. We'll get him on eventually because I can already feel his blood boiling with this. I can.
Just get in the game.
You're wrong every time. I don't know why you try that. I can feel his blood boiling because he would turn around and say, well, you have a new COD every year. The only difference, a new Call of Duty.
I know what it is. I don't play it.
Well, I don't even know what you play, so we'll start on you later. The difference is, yes, they're contracted to do that, but 1 year is made by Treyarch, the next year is Infinity Ward. So 1 year would be Modern Warfare, the next year would be Black Ops, and then it would go back to Modern Warfare, back to Black Ops. So it was, and they are very, very different. Modern Warfare 2, the game that is getting re-released very shortly, has to be one of the best Call of Duties of all time. The Black Ops games, I was never the biggest fan of them. The most recent one, of course, with the Battle Royale, had a bit of a spice to it, where I wanted to play, but other than that, no, I even tend to agree with him. Yes, they shouldn't bring out so many games so often. Like, make the game that you've released perfect first. That's my FIFA rant. Mm-hmm. That's 2 of my games of the week. And my last one, you want to talk about my last one, or do you want to kick on one of your games and then come back to me? It's not my last one.
I know.
I've still got 2 more. One of them I know you played, and we're going to leave that one for last because that one
That's
I'll
what we're
be
both
back.
talking about.
I'll be
Yeah.
back sleeping straight away. It's worse than FIFA, that thing.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going. So what else was the other one?
Digimon Cyber Sleuth on Nintendo.
That's an old game.
That is, I believe it's a direct port of the PS4 version. Now,
Didn't that come out years ago on the PS4? Don't quote me, but I think it was 2 years.
Nah, 4 years. I reckon it was 2015, 2014. You should look that up. I reckon it's around 14, 15 it was released. I don't know whether it was actually a port already from then, like whether it was out on PSP or something like that, and they brought it to PS4. I believe it was a PS4 direct release, but memory might.
So it actually came out in March the 12th, 2015.
15?
So yeah, 4 years, yeah. So that's really strange that Nintendo is still bringing out these such old games.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about later on. I don't know which section I would put that in. Is it in gaming? Is it in Gamers News? Is it? You're
like Gamers News.
Guys, I got to sit down and say Michael likes structure. I'm not much structure kind of guy. So he turns around and says, "I'm writing dot notes." And that's his exact voice. And I say, don't write dot notes. You sound like freaking a drone and you're reading out to 80-year-old women calling out bingo. And he's like, I'm doing dot notes. And that's it. So off he goes like a wall. And he types up these dot notes. I'm gonna explain one to you. Show notes. That's it. That's his his dot notes.
Okay, so when you actually release a podcast, I'll give you a little 101 with podcasting, right?
I'm glad
you have to have details.
Now.
Yeah, do it now.
It's like 23 episodes ago.
Yeah, okay, so you normally have notes on what you've discussed in the podcast. So it, or Google searches, it will actually pop up. Okay, so I've got all the information that what we discuss in these podcasts, and I chuck it all in.
Oh, so people are going to be looking up show notes of blank.
No, it's a headache.
No, and so I don't know when I want to talk about the ports and re-releases on Switch. We'll get to that after. We'll talk about your stuff.
Okay, so now I'm going to go on to me, and then we'll come back to your...
talk about the game.
Let's go back to me, okay, because I'm the only one.
It's about you.
I'm the king. We'll talk about my games that I played, and then we can go on to the final game that we actually both played the same. So the games I played, I played Fortnite. I downloaded it. I actually played it. I love the new map. Really.
Oh, really?
Nice. Yeah. Look, it's quite a fun game. It's for free. I'm not going to buy any content, so they're going to get nothing from me, except I'll play a couple of games here and there. It's okay to pick up. I don't like normally shooters.
Yeah.
But it has so much better cartoon graphics than that other game that you were playing the other week. I can't think of what it's called. Shots
You're not
fired.
talking about Borderlands.
I am. How did you know? So I reckon Fortnite looks better anyway. The mechanics of the game, it's quite easy to pick up and learn. Am I any good? I came third in one of my games. Other games I got headshotted really quickly in, so we won't talk about them. But I came third in one game, which was really cool. And I like the concept of how they keep making the map smaller. That's fun too.
No, the Battle Royale side of things.
Yeah. There's no story for it, is there?
There's no story. Not on the Battle Royale. There is on the main world mode or story mode, whatever it's called. I've never played it before.
Yeah, I never saw it either. So, that was the first game. Now, I play the sports game.
Out of bounds.
No, out of bounds on the full. No. MBL The Show. So it was the free download with the PS Plus. Baseball.
Oh, NBL.
No, M.
M? Oh, yes. Major Baseball League.
Yes. It's called The Show.
The Show.
That one.
Oh, yeah. Any good?
Well, you know what? If someone knew what they were doing...
Should I download it?
Yeah, have a download. It's for free anyway, so you might as well. But to play the game... I got no idea what I'm doing, so I don't know the rules. I don't know how to bat. I don't know how to bowl. I just literally played a couple of games playing it.
Sure you don't know how to bat?
Well, professional bat anyway.
Carry on.
But the actual game looks quite nice. And if you had someone there professionally playing, or someone that actually knew maybe 10% of the game.
Or even cared about the sport.
Yeah, or even cared about the sport. But watching it... Or
played sport.
It's like... I'm getting huffy now. Keep cutting me off.
You're getting puffy. No,
Yeah.
that was
Oh, that happened about 15 years ago, yeah? No,
who's
33.
the white guy from not white guy, that's very racial.
Really?
From Ghostbusters?
Who you got to call? Dan Aykroyd.
No, I'm not talking about the
Fuck,
white guy. The big
you
white
said black
blob dude who climbs after him.
guy.
The Michelin Man. That's who you are. You're the Michelin Man. You ain't playing no baseball.
Oh, anyway, so I played it. It looks like you're watching a TV show.
Oh, really?
No, the commentators are talking, the screens that you see. It looks like you're actually watching a game of baseball. So if you like baseball, definitely download it, especially if you got the PlayStation Plus, because it's for free this month.
Yeah.
So that was the game. But no. So like that, I had a choice, playing Last of Us or
MLB. You've been saying
MLB.
it wrong. Major
What?
League Baseball.
What did I say?
Yes, that's what NBL. That's what was putting me off because NBL. It's N.
Look, I'm a sports guy, mate. What can I say? I forget up my words. English me good.
Oh.
Anyway, so MLB The Show 19. If you like baseball, definitely jump on, grab
How
it
many
while it's
gig
on the
was
PlayStation Plus. 46.23.
All right, I'm downloading now. So by the next podcast, actually, it looks all right. I'm looking at the video here. You can do gym and stuff.
Can you do gym?
Not in real life, but in the game it says I can do gym.
It looks good. Look, as I said, it looks like you're actually there. The sort of atmosphere of the show and watching it. It looks good. Anyway, moving on from that, back to my show notes.
Mm-hmm.
The other game I played. Now you gotta wait for this one. This needs like a real massive intro.
Here we go.
So, the game is Time Travel VR. I'm just going to leave it silent because that's all that needs to be said.
Is it freaking terrible?
It is amazing.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Okay, so a little bit blurry.
Oh,
Just like pixelated.
Is it? Worse than Skyrim?
Oh, no. Skyrim's better.
You said no to a question where the answer was yes. I'm heavily confused. So it's
Skyrim. Which one? Hang on, Skyrim. No Man's Sky. Which question?
No, not No Man's Sky. Skyrim. Remember, I played Skyrim on your VR unit, and I said, "Oh, I can't do that. It's too pixelated."
Yeah, that's because you've got no eyes. You're not actually looking through the thing. But anyway, it's a little bit pixelated. It is a really... Well, it's not really a long game. Well, it can be a long game because there's actually 2 endings, just like Link's to the Awakening. Doom, doom, doom. No more spoilers there. No chance. Fantastic game. You're in like a little scooter submarine thing where you're scooting around. So you feel like Xavier from X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're in like a little pod thing. I've got the bald head, so I just relate to him completely. And then you have to do different things to like scan the different dinosaurs, find out how a virus is mutating from the prehistoric past to the current. As I said, there's a secret, there's a true ending and a normal ending. So you can just do the 5 missions, maybe 4 or 5. And then you can finish the main game. But then if you want to get the actual true ending, then you have to do a lot more. So keep going back into the levels, find different things, monoliths and all that. I've played it quite a bit. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
Okay.
So before, when you were calling me saying what time we're going to do the podcast, I was kind of playing it, and then I'm like...
Any other VR, or is that it for the week of VR?
No, that was it for VR, because I was playing that quite a bit.
Oh, really?
It's not a very fast game, yeah.
And what about No Man's Sky? Have you moved on from that? You played it last week, didn't you?
I did.
Still going with it, or you've moved on? Oh, did you go... Actually, I wanted to follow up, because one of my mates asked, did you go and visit the pyramids?
Unreal, mate. Seriously, how much effort they put in. I'll actually put a link on the Facebook page, a picture of the pyramids with the location. So if anyone plays No Man's Sky, definitely needs to go and have a look at it. And if you have VR, go there first, or whichever you want. But it's easy to go there and then load it up in VR.
Yep.
And it looks amazing. The guy who's done it has just put in mass amounts of hours. He's definitely a day one player.
Yeah.
Speaking to him the other day through the PlayStation group. Really cool, but phenomenal hours.
Talking about VR, just quickly, guys. Michael is obviously the VR guy. I'm not. My eyes aren't the best with the VR. I don't completely accept it. My eye set is long vision, so when I'm at a computer screen, I need to wear my glasses. They
call him special.
Yeah, they don't completely magnify it, they more dull it from my understanding. So when I chuck on the VR headset, it is slightly, I don't want to say blurry, but yeah, it's as if my eyes can't adjust to it being directly in front of me. I haven't tried it with my glasses on, obviously.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes.
Did you
but
find your glasses?
I haven't found them yet, so I will. Like it's not nowhere near as bad as where I'm like, oh my god, get these off me. It's just it's there, and so. But what I wanted to raise to everyone: does everyone know you can get the VR headset and not use it for VR? It is purely a cinematic screen. You can set it to small, medium, and large. Small is I can't remember, like 50%, medium is 75%, and large is 100% of a 225-inch screen. Large, you physically have to move your head left and right to see the whole screen. If you could just sit back a meter, that would be perfect, absolutely perfect. But it's like I find large to be just that too big, and medium, I'm like, ooh, I've got a little bit too much black sitting around that. It would be good. But I'll turn on Crunchyroll, I'll turn on games, and I'll play them games while just wearing this headset. It's not immersive, it's not anything. You're just literally sitting there as if you've got a screen strapped to your head. So if you've got, yeah, it would be funny if you walked in and someone had a 65-inch screen strapped to their head.
That's it. Be a bit sore on the neck after an hour, I reckon.
But like, say for myself,
No, it's really good. It's really
I've
good.
I've moved out of the lounge room now. I'm in the whatever room this would be called. It's a bit of a gaming slash study slash kids room slash sun room slash walkway into the whole entire house. So it's a bit of a bits of room, this one. So I'm just sitting here with the two 24-inch computer monitors. One's a 4K monitor. I use that mostly for my gaming on my PS4, but I can just, when I want to, put that headset on, boom, I'm back. I'm in, like, even on the medium, it's far bigger than my 65-inch 4K TV. So if you're very limited for space and you're limited for all of that, I heavily recommend the VR. Get it, try it on, put your earplugs in or ear muffs, depending on which ones you want to go, and off you go.
I would preferably say the earmuffs are better because it does, like, if you have those little earphones in, I reckon it hurts my ears.
Ah, see, I haven't tried it with it. I see there is a plug on the back of it to plug in earplugs.
Yeah.
I haven't used it with earplugs only because I've got my good Razer Bluetooth earmuffs. So I'd much rather use the full surround sound quality of them than the earplug. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure our listeners know VR headset isn't just VR. It is a headset as well. So definitely it can be a good time.
And you don't even need a TV on to actually play the game as well. So it's really good for the people that don't have multiple TVs. You can actually play your VR and someone else watch the actual TV on a different channel, which is pretty cool too.
Yep.
So I've done that a couple of times with the little one. I want to play VR, and she wants to watch her bear show, and I don't want to watch the bear show. Okay, so that's it for Gaming of the Week. All right, so the next game is for both of us. We've actually both reviewed this game. I was really quite excited about the game when it first came out. The trailer was amazing. It really did look amazing, and I don't think you can deny it either, Steve. I really think the trailer was probably the best parts of the game.
I was never a big, I have to get it because big pirate fan. So for me, it wasn't something where I'm like, oh, I cannot go without this game. You did carry on and rant on that it was. But for me, it was like, oh, well, whatever. It looks good. It looks like an open world kind of game. The best way for me to explain it was terribly
Poor cousin.
Like, it was, I just don't know. Like,
have we even said the name of the game yet?
No, I'm building up to it.
Yeah, it was shocking. It was a poor man's. Well, for me, I've never played Witcher 3, so I've got no idea. But I've played Assassin's Creed and I've played God of War. I've played, I don't know, not really God of War, but Assassin's Creed sort of open world like that is as well.
Yeah.
And when you're getting stuck and the surroundings is blocking you when it shouldn't be, there's got to be issues with the game.
Mine was just let's say the name.
Should we?
Yeah. Greedfall. Michael wasn't very keen on saying the name of the game because the whole entire time he's like, "Oh, we gotta get Greedfall." And he had his voice back on from show notes. Show notes.
Look, if you look at the trailer, watch the trailer of Greedfall. It is a fantastic trailer. It's seriously, they've done 20 out of 10 for the trailer.
Guys,
Then
I
I've forgot about
can't.
then I've forgot about doing the actual game. I went, oh yeah, we'll get some third party to do it, and then we'll slap it on a box and we're done.
I can't
It took me-
truthfully bag out the game too much.
How far did you play before you went?
An open world game like that, I should have put in 10 hours. That's my rule. I should have done it. Struggled to put in 10 minutes. I really.
So you lasted 10 minutes on the game,
Oh,
and you're going to give a review. How can you give a review for 10 minutes?
no, I done it. Oh, I done probably an hour and a half, just shy of 2 hours, I reckon. By the time
What were you up to?
what do you mean? In the city,
Which one?
the first one, I never even made it to the island. I didn't. I finished off heaps of quests on the main like the intro place.
Yeah.
And that was probably why my downfall. I never gave it enough effort to get to the open world, air quotes, hand quotes, that it was supposed to be. But even in this open world city design, it was just the mechanics, the fighting mechanics. I don't know, and I don't want to bag it out because, like,
I do, and I'm going to stop you right there. I hate it. It took me 2.5 hours to beat the main boss as you're getting off the island. But you know why I persisted? Because I saw the ship in the background. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be on a ship. I'm going to pillage and destroy and shoot other ships. It's a cinematic.
Did you think it was going to be
cinematic.
like Black Flag or something?
Oh, I really... Watch the trailer. The trailer shows you that it's going to be like Black Flag. If you like a pirate game, it's got diplomacy in it, plus you're a pirate. Bang! It sold me twice. And then I found out I'm just some governor, rich kid. Woeful mechanics for the game. The fighting mechanics, I kept pressing L1 or L2 and it kept bringing up the menu. And that really aggravated me because I'm like, no, I want to attack. Shocking game.
Yeah,
If I was giving it a score,
Ooh.
which we don't do, and I never give a game a score, I would give it -10. Minimum,
I would.
minimum, depending on how angry I was. Before I killed the boss, it was about -100.
I reckon you should play Witcher 3 and just see what I'm talking about. Witcher 3 won a lot of awards. Truthfully, I don't think it's that bad.
You played...
No, as in
hours.
that type of game, and this is what I was going to come to later on. That type of game for me, the first literal intro is a fight scene. You're just walking along and you got to run down into the courtyard and you have a fight against your weapons master or combats master, whatever he is. Like, all of this is, realistically, if you fly through it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But I just feel like they done that too quickly. They put the hard part of the battle mechanics in front of trying to win me over. Give me some more story. Give me backdrops. Give me lore. Give me something. Like, don't just chuck me in a courtyard like they used to do that. And I'm not into that type of deep, rich RPG anymore. Like,
I'm telling you now, there was no deep, there was no rich. It was crap. It was really crap, and I can't stop saying crap enough because it was crap. You know what? I'm going to go on a statement here and say something. I have never returned a game because I didn't like it. But it was that flawed that I had it for 3 days and I went, nah, I'm done.
really?
I was rage quitting. Like, it just was wrong, the whole game. I don't know what they did. It's not a pirate game. Don't dress them like pirates. But no, so shocking game. Don't recommend it. And you know what the funny part is? When I went back to EB Games, I said, guys, I've never done this before. I really don't like this game. I go, it's not Black Flag. And the guy behind the counter started laughing. He goes, You know what? I was talking to my mate about the same thing yesterday. He goes, "It's bloody woeful." I was like, "Yeah, it really was."
The EB Games lady where I returned it because the normal guy.
Oh, so you returned it as well. So you're making me sound like the bad guy when you did the exact
I
same.
waited. I waited till you admitted it and put your name to contract. Now I'm slipping in. She actually said it is one of. It's got like it's a very double-edged review. 1 second, one person walks in, they're like, "Yeah, I'm loving it. It's like Witcher 3. Oh, it's so good." And then the next person is walking in with the CD saying, "Please don't ever sell me a game like that again." And like, there's no one, in her words, you either love it or hate it. No one comes back and says, "Oh, it was all right. I'll grab a different game today. It'll do me when I'm bored."
I
Like,
don't even want it in my collection.
no, and that was literally I don't return games. Like, I Divinity Sin. Like, even though it won a lot of rewards, awards and everything like that, I never really played it longer than 2 hours. I reckon I played it for. It's still sitting next to my PlayStation because maybe I'll turn it on. I probably won't, but I've still got it there because I bought it and it's mine, and it's there. But with Greedfall, truthfully, I was like, you know what? I could take this back. I could swap it for the game that is my final game of the week, and I'd have a lot more fun. And that is it was one of the first games in a long time where I bought it at full value. It wasn't discounted. It was just a regular old $79 of awkwardness. Like, it wasn't day one cost down to 60. It wasn't you missed out on day one cost and it's back up to 100. It was just like, hey, look, we haven't sold enough copies of this Australia wide. No one's really even bought it, like Target and Big W, to price match against. So only EB Games could sell it. And truthfully, I fell for your hype. Like, I watched them videos, I watched them clips as it was coming, and I was like, man, this game is looking the goods. It's like it does. It looks like Witcher 3, but as a pirate. I'm gonna get this, and I don't want to end on a low note, so let's move on to my final game.
Didn't you say it before?
I did. I talked about it. Why did we finish on such a low note? Oh no,
Because it was a bloody crap game. We've maintained that.
Well, we shouldn't have. We should have finished on a good game. Why are we? God damn you,
Wow.
Greedfall.
It ruined my week. It really did.
It has. It's literally.
Say exactly how it is. It was a crap game. I do not recommend it. Like that sort of thing? Let us know. Let us know. I do not like it, my opinion.
I put over 100 hours into Nier Automata. I put over 100 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn. I put 100 hours into Final Fantasy 15. All of these games are a certain style of open world fantasy. Witcher 3, I maybe put in 10 hours. It was probably the lowest, and that's why I'm starting to think it is the realism that actually breaks me. Because of that game that I talked about, the second one, which I actually swapped Greedfall for, was Digimon Cyber Sleuth. I don't even know if I named it before. I thought we did. I'm so lost. I swapped Greedfall for Digimon. Truthfully, this is a game that's a port from 2015 March. It's a port. This game sort of plays like Crisis Core on the PSP. Like, it is Pokemon, but the game sort of like Pokemon Let's Go, but Digimon. You're running around. It's a cartoon style. You got to catch.
Is it the old anime style?
In the cinematics, it is. In the
that's
game, cool. Yeah, in the game, it's not. I like it. Truthfully, like, to go from such a low of Greedfall to such a high. Well, put it this way. I had Greedfall for 3 days. I think I made 3 days. I put in more the first afternoon, not even the first day, but the first afternoon. I put more hours into Digimon than I did into Greedfall. Before the partner was even home from work, I had Oh, am I allowed to say that? What time do I knock off? What time does she knock off? Or work out that I had knocked off early? No, it should be okay. Nah, I had put in, I reckon in the first day I got Digimon, I put in over 3 hours. It took me 3 days worth of just grinding to get not even 2 hours on Greedfall. Digimon is like you run along. The thing is about it, it's gone back to turn-based fighting. It's not monsters on the world like let Pokemon Let's Go, where you can run along and you can see the Zubat or the Rattata or whatever. You just run however many steps and boom, you're in a fight. Every
so
time
it's like an auto-generate, just
yes,
randomized fights.
But I cast a spell to increase the generator, so I'm fighting more. You can cast one spell to fight more or cast one spell to fight less. I do the more because every fight you get in, it scans a certain percentage of that Digimon. It's about 15% or something like that. So, and you need 100% to be able to clone them, and you can max it out at 200%. So I enjoy it. I've got a team of 3 in battle. You can carry 10 Pokemon. You can carry 10 Digimon on you at one time. You can only have 3 when you're battling, but you can swap them out after each battle. You can leave 10 on one of your, it's like a Digi Island or something it's called, and you can set them to tasks, which I'll have to turn it on actually, because them tasks...
Have you actually see the island? Have you actually been to the island?
Yes, and
it's like a Chow Garden from Sonic.
Yeah, sort of. I'm glad you picked that as a reference. I was going to pick like the Weverse or the Miiverse or whatever it was. Remember how you could have the little, all your characters there and they're just bobbleheads around? Like, very, very like that. So you go back there after 2 hours and they've found a seed for you and you say, oh no, start running on a treadmill. Come back 2 hours later.
What happens if you get on the treadmill for like 24 hours?
They'll stop. No, they'll stop after just 2, and that's all they'll do.
See how I went back to my Sims days, where you just take out the ladder out of the pool and leave them in the pool and they drown?
I like it. And that's why it rewards you for logging back on more often than leaving it, like myself.
Okay.
But, like, yeah, the differences in the dynamics is so different. Like, Digimon came out, what is it? It's October 2019. It came out March 2015. So 4.5 years ago, this game came out. Yes, on a far superior product. It came out on PS4, but it is a port. Like, and I don't say that like, oh, I'm PC Master Race. Like the PS4 is a more powerful console than the Switch, but it plays so well handheld. Like, truthfully, compare it to Link's Awakening. I know which one I'm playing. Link's Awakening, with its frame rate drops, with its blurred screen at the bottoms, that upsets me. That was not a good port, not a remaster. Sorry, that wasn't even a port, that was a remaster.
You're talking about my religion, okay? I don't talk about your religion, you don't mention mine. Zelda is life.
You bring up Final Fantasy. Oh, actually, that's a good question. What do you think? Final Fantasy...
Yeah, excited, yeah.
...is an RPG. What do you deem Zelda?
RPG.
Ooh.
An action RPG. Action-adventure RPG, actually, because it's a lot of...
I deemed it as an action RPG, but a lot of people on our page were actually blowing up about that, saying unpopular thread, but it's not. It is like an action side-scroller or something like that. Not side-scroller. I'll find it. I'll show you.
I remember you trying to have a go at our page followers, saying that the fantastic game like Zelda was crap, and now I got offended. I was about to start jumping on there, raging at you, and I just thought, why do it over the internet when I can call you up?
I put up the meme of, I don't like Zelda. And then people started getting on there saying, unpopular opinion, Zelda is an action-adventure series and has never been an RPG. That copped a lot of likes and love hearts from the diehard. I
think I put about 30 of them on myself.
I deem it to be an RPG. I know people don't. I deem it to be the original action RPG.
The only thing with the RPGs, you don't level up your character. Like you get just different items. The only time you level up in Zelda is just with like your heart pieces, not really like the mechanics. So like going back to Greedfall, that had actually a pretty impressive skill tree where there was a lot of different ways you could go about doing the game. With Zelda, you haven't actually got that. So that's probably why it's not an RPG. It is more like an action adventure.
The problem is, and this is the part that I have the debate, is either I'm confused or some other people are confused at what RPG actually stands for. Like,
How about we just say Zelda's a fantastic game and move on?
RPG stands for a role-playing game. And I'm going to read this definition for you. A role-playing game, RPG, is a game in which each participant assumes, how dare you assume my gender, assumes the role of a character, generally in a fantasy or science fiction setting, that can interact within the game's imaginary world. That is the most absolute basic of definitions. Tell me which part of that doesn't.
So why didn't you copy and paste that into the chat?
Because I know what they're doing. Because role-playing games used to be like the Dungeons and Dragons and the Final Fantasies and all that kind of stuff where you're right. Hang on, I'll read on it a little bit more. Games like Dungeons and Dragons, it's as if I just freaking said that, Battletech and Star Wars were all popular examples of the genre of early online RPGs, role-playing games. Oh, that makes sense. Star Wars was one of the good ones, same as Dungeons and Dragons.
With those ones that you're talking about there, Steve, they have got skill tree.
Yes.
You're upgrading. So Zelda doesn't have a skill tree.
And that's why I find it to be... It is a very difficult one to deem, because even like look at these ones with the online ones. You got Ultima Online, Neverwinter Nights, they were all MMORPGs, World of Warcraft, like these are all MMORPGs. But like Zelda, for me, I would deem it an action RPG. That's how I look at that game. It is a hack and slash type of RPG, but that's it. I still, in my deep heart of hearts, Ocarina of Time, I deem it to be an RPG.
So I've just Googled what is a Zelda game. Okay, The Legend of Zelda is a fantasy action adventure video game. So action adventure, that's what I said before, because it's not really, like it is an RPG to a degree, but it's not. You don't have the skills to upgrade. But the action adventure definitely, because you're always going around everywhere on the map, like I said before, and action sort of like your hack and slash.
So you then an action adventure would put it more into likes of Metal Slug and stuff like that. They're more of a side scroller, but they're an action.
It's not really adventure though. That would be more of an action game.
What's the difference? It's just going sideways, shooting people, and you're just going sideways, hitting them with a sword. Like an RPG is you are playing the role of that character. You're playing the role of the hero. Like the RPG is where it gets its depth from. I don't believe you get that in. That's why I find it very difficult to label it as an action adventure series. I would say an action adventure RPG. I would accept that. I think people lose the initial definition of RPG and say, well, what did Mystic Quest have? The original RPG of my childhood. Did it have?
Metal Slug is a run and gun video game, not an action adventure.
Well, that's what I'm deeming. What's the difference? Adventure, yes, I agree. It's not an adventure. You're just going sideways. It was a side scroller, definitely. But what's the difference between that and Link then?
Link, you can go wherever you want. You don't have. It's not as linear.
True. Very well. I like your debate.
I won. Okay, cool. What was next?
I'm still talking about Digimon.
I knew you were, so that's why I said, what's next?
Is a good game. Unlike our previous game we talked about, I would heavily recommend it. If you just want something where you can turn it on, turn it off, lose 10 minutes, or sit on the couch and play for 4 hours, it is definitely a game that I feel like I am doing that to. I wish I could sneak it to work and I would play it at work slightly because it is a game that feels like it was made for Switch. And this is what I wanted to talk about earlier. Now that I'm finished my game reviews, the Switch console. Are we calling Switch a console these days, or are we still calling it?
It is a console.
we're deeming it well, not the Switch Lite.
No, but you're not talking about the Switch Lite. You're talking about the Nintendo Switch, which is a console.
Switch. It is like a glorified 3DS. It truthfully is. And what 3DS lacked in graphics, it made up for in some absolutely brilliant games. Especially the likes of Fire Emblems. I loved them. I truthfully did love a lot of games on the 3DS because they were just not wholehearted. Like, they didn't spend 1 million hours. I know, I'm going to put my best Trump on. Billions and billions and billions on graphics. It was all about gameplay, storylines, and I feel like they are doing so many ports and re-releases on Switch. I get lost some days because I truthfully hadn't looked into Digimon too deeply, and I thought it was finally a Digimon game was coming to Switch. And then when I went to buy it, I saw that it was there on PlayStation 4 for $20 pre-owned. I was like, oh man, I have played it, and it jogged my memory. I only played it for maybe a couple of hours at best on PlayStation because it wasn't a game where I felt like it suited my PlayStation. I just didn't feel like it was one where I was like, man, Digimon on the PlayStation is awesome. But it could be because back then I was playing different, deeper games, and now that's the kind of game I want to play. I don't know, but I wanted to just talk about how Switch's library feels a lot bigger than what it actually is if you only take into account their actual direct releases on their library.
I was looking at it the other day and I'm like, I've got this game. Why am I going to buy it again? I've already got 2 copies of Star Wars PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox. I don't know how many copies of the same game you can have unless it's like a favourite that you want. Like
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, like that.
I got that on nearly every console and platform I can buy it on.
But yeah, so like if it is a favourite genre or game that you like, fine. Get it on as many systems as you want to get it on. I like the idea of having it with the Switch because you can play it outside. But if you've already got the game and you've already passed the game, how many games can you actually go back to and play? You have your regular games that you play sort of off and on over a couple of years, and you got games that you play once, you play through, and then you're like, okay, I'm done with this game now. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really. Yeah, like if it's a port and I haven't got it, or I really liked it and I will play it again, sure thing, I'll go get it. But not for every single game that comes out because I just look at it and I'm like, no.
It's hard, but because if I remembered Digimon, I probably wouldn't have bought it because it was, truthfully, I didn't enjoy it on the PlayStation. But now on the Switch, I'm heavily enjoying it. So because of the graphics style, because of the gameplay, it is very, very designed for it. So all of a sudden now it's putting in this little twist where I'm like, I have to keep an eye out for these games all over again. There might be games that I hated on the PS4, and here they are, all of a sudden popping back up on a whole different console 5 years later.
Yeah, and if it is a different way to play, or as you said, you can play it out and about, well then, yeah, it's okay. But again, it'd be only the select games that you actually really like, and you go, okay, that's really worth my time. All right, next topic. So, we've got some news on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Originally, the Vampire the Masquerade, and then their sequel, Bloodlines Original, then you've got now Bloodlines 2, has actually been delayed till late 2020. I've looked at trailers for it. It looks amazing. I love the original games. You're a vampire. You've got different covens to sort of... Covens? Is that what you call them? Yeah, you got different groups of vampires which have different skills and abilities. It's more of an RPG that you are actually upgrading certain things. There's also, you can be either good or bad as a vampire, so you could kill the humans or try and save the humans. And when you're doing that as well, it affects your humanity. That was from the original game.
Yep.
So it looks really sick. I'm actually quite disappointed that they're now pushing it back to late 2020. But in saying that still as well, I'd rather have a polished game rather than a crap game that's not ready. Yes. And I actually like that they came out on Twitter and said, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 will launch late in 2020, later than we planned. Simply put, we believe in quality is more important than releasing in Q1. And that's from the blog post from the development team, which is Hard Suits Labs. So I reckon that, seriously, hats off to them because that is fantastic.
I wonder why they, because how long have they pushed back the start date? The release date, sorry?
So it was from Q1. It was supposed to be in Q1, and now they're doing it late. So probably Q3, 4.
See, I wonder how they make... Like, Doom. Doom was supposed to get released pretty much now, and it's not coming out till next year. It's like, how can you all of a sudden add 1 year on? Like, did you make such a mistake? Did you delete some of your code? Did you... Like, what can possibly, especially this close to release as well, like, what? Fair enough if they said, you know what, geez, we are not gonna make Q1 next year because it is months away. This is obviously not right now because Q1 next year can be 3 months to 6 months. Like, fair enough if you've done that, saying we aren't gonna make it, guys, sorry, but we are truly not gonna make early next year. It'll be mid to late next year. That adds on 6 months of a project that is 6 months away. But to turn around and be like, hey, this project that was releasing in 1 to 3 months isn't going to be out 12 months after that, something had to go wrong. Like, that's not just a little mistake. That's a
Yeah, well, they didn't go into actually explain. I was actually just reading the post. They didn't actually go into explain why it's been delayed. So, yeah, I don't know if we really need to know. I'm just glad they're going to actually try and make the game better, rather than just release something crap. Not going to mention names of any crap games that got released, like such as Greedfall.
Like, truthfully, I completely agree. I hate games that... Yeah, I hate games that are just released early, or it feels as if they're like, oh, you know what, that'll do. We released a good-looking trailer. We'll get it next time. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with gamers these days. It's the I want it. It has to be now. And publishers are also bad for it too. Like, you watch nearly a whole entire movie before it's even released these days because of how many ads and trailers they put on TV luring you in to come and watch it. You're like, why? I've just seen the best bit. That's fine. I'll see it on DVD. And that's what it seems like with games. Like, the hype build-up is so enormous. By the time it gets released, you're like, oh, okay. Is that it?
No, that's it. So, yeah. So, Vampire Masquerade, we'll have to wait. But I think it's going to be pretty sick. So, now on to your Fortnite.
Wanted to talk about Fortnite, and it's... would you say misconception? I don't know what the word is. You see it on every single news article and every TV. Don't let your kids play Fortnite. It's terrible. It's bad, and it causes murder, and it's bad for kids who will murder.
They mentioned murder about 4 times in the one sentence. So make sure if you didn't hear murder, it was murder.
But it's been happening for years, let's face it. There was rehabs in China from World of Warcraft. Like, the Doom and all, what's his name? Duke Nukem and stuff like that. Like, it's always been around, and it's always gonna be around. How can we possibly sit here and complain about the digital sprite system on a Fortnite and then turn a blind eye to the pathetic grubbiness of EA and their loot boxes and their gambling addiction?
How did you go to EA from Fortnite?
Well, this is my problem. This is what the media can so simply train the sheep into to believing what they want. Like, truthfully, if you sat down and said, hey, look, this is the rate of suicide and depression, etc. in children and blah, 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 because of this, or, hey, you get to do this, that, I believe the whole aspect would change. But it's not. They don't portray that. Like, I understand the addiction of Fortnite. Fortnite is so crazy big and addicted. Like, the young fella...
People can earn a lot of money from Fortnite. That's the thing as well. Like, some of these parents are going, oh, my kid can't play it. And then the kid come home, like the guy who won in the UK the other week.
$1 million prize money. Done.
Like, okay. Go on, parent. Go back to work. Go to your 9 to 5. Show me the $1 million. Nah.
But the problem is, and that's what I talk to my partner about. For me, as a gamer, I don't see any part of Fortnite as being bad except for the toxicity of the actual community.
I don't even find that. Like, I thought the community was going quite well the other day that I was playing.
And
I love the
believe
media
it's a lot cleaner.
I reckon they did a fantastic job with launching version 2 or Act 2, whatever it's called.
Yep.
For Fortnite, I reckon that was fantastic. They blew the world up. It went over crazy with social media, saying that Fortnite's gone, the kids are crying, and then it's
People were
back.
searching a different type of black hole.
Yes, they were. That the lovely Pornhub.
And like for me, when you shoot someone and you kill someone on Fortnite, they don't die. Like they just materialize.
Yeah,
So for me, I didn't think that was a bad thing. But then now specialists are coming out saying, "Oh, we're desensitizing death to children. They now don't know what it means to die." And when they say, "Oh, you died," no, you die. You're like, "Geez, how many millennia have we been playing cowboys and Indians? Like how many generations have we shot at each other with fake hand pistols? And like, when do we draw the line between that and saying, come on, it's okay? Like, show me where the internet touched you. Where does it hurt?"
Look, it's just a lot of fear mongering, I think.
Yeah,
They love keeping the sheep scared, and with these games, exactly like when I was actually a kid with Mortal Kombat, that was going big at the time. There's blood, and you're like, what are you talking about? I've had a blood nose before. I've seen a punch up at school. Like,
but
okay,
you
I
look
don't
at
go
Mortal
to someone
Kombat and brutalities and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, fair enough. Like, I still don't even agree with it, but fair enough. But Fortnite, yeah, I think out of any of the mainstream games, I think it's actually a good one for the kids. Hand-eye coordination, mental capacity, the patience to be able to sit there and stare at a screen for a certain amount of time. I believe it's all character building. I don't believe it's all negative. And that's what I wanted to talk about, was the way gaming is still portrayed in the media. And I just don't know whether we'll escape it. Like, I get deemed to be a bad dad, air quotes, because I play computer games with my kids. And I'm like, oh, so what did you do? My mate's like, I went out fishing. They literally went out on a boat, put the fishing line into the water for 6 hours, drove around from different spot to different spot, and came back. Didn't catch a single fish, just got sunburnt the whole time.
I was going to say, I actually played a VR fishing game, I forgot to mention.
Well, I played a fishing game as well. I played a fishing game on the Switch. And you can buy the actual fishing rods on Switch. You can buy the big buck hunter on Switch. Like, all of this, I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's
Take
just
it with a grain of salt. Basically everything.
Yeah.
And if you like video games and you want to encourage your kids playing video games, fine. Excessive is probably not good, but if they can make a career out of it, and you can get a career out of gaming or game design or anything like that, why not let them go for it and let them try?
Excessive. Where do we draw the line with excessive? What's like? My parents are exactly the same. My brother was trying to go to pro for League of Legends and Street Fighter and stuff like that. I was trying to write a novel. They deemed novel writing actually worse than songwriting. They said 1 in 10,000 books get published. 1 in 10,000 of them books pay back the cost of the publishing. So you got 1 in a million chance to actually make your money back. So
1 in a million?
1 in a million with a book.
You're the same in business. Just because you buy something doesn't mean you can...
There's businesses getting shut down every day. There's people with mortgages getting revoked. There's people with cars getting towed. There's why do we accept that in real life? But as soon as it comes to something that we don't understand, it's like, nope, that's terrible. Like, yes, I understand. 1,000 hours into Fortnite, if you put it into 1,000 hours worth of brain training or something like that.
I think you had a go at me the other week about No Man's Sky. I did 120 hours, and you're like, you could have done a Cert 4. Well, I think you're part of the problem.
Oh, that was just because it was No Man's Sky. I'd done 100 hours into Horizon Zero Dawn, and I would not take it back. That's
the same with me with No Man's Sky.
But
you're right. You are right, though. I think moderation, and I think you need to know what you want to do yourself. And if you're gamers, be gamers. We are gamers.
Yeah, if it was truly affecting life skills, life everything, and you can't build your morals anymore, you don't have any sort of morals, you don't have any sort of street smarts, I guess the word would be, then yes, go outside, get a tan. go and try to find a lady. But if that's what you want to do, I'm not gonna tell you no. Like, there's people who have studied and studied and studied and studied and to try to become a lawyer. They fail the bar and they end up working as a barista for the rest of their life. I'm not going to say a barista is a terrible job. They tried to fulfill a life dream. They failed. They missed. They moved on. So how come you can't do that with gaming? How come you can't do that with music? How come you can't do that with any sort of creative dream? But
All right.
yeah, that was my news.
So we've got some news coming in the next couple of weeks. You just need to stay tuned. I'll release more information as it gets closer, but please stick with us. So 2 weeks, we should hopefully have something down in paper. Have you got anything else you want to talk about, Steve?
No, that's it. I had my little rant about Fortnite. I had definitely my big rant about Greedfall and FIFA.
Shocking games. See how I did that? I blanketed it.
Yep.
But no. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. You sure you check out GamerzDownunder.com for all your gaming news and reviews for Aussie gamers. If you want to join the conversation, please follow us on our socials. All you have to do is search Gamers Down Under. That's Gamers with a Z. And finally, make sure you smash that subscribe button. It'll never be game over.
And Gamer's got a game.
Game.